Let's look at the third part of chapter 11. We're going to do something a little easier than learning a new tense. We're going to talk about how infinitives can be used in different ways. And we're going to start out by talking about infinitives after prepositions. Now, the most often they're going to occur after a or de because those are the most common infinitives. And they're traditionally, or they're typically, translated as like an English infinitive. Il commence à étudier. So commence is the imperfect of to begin, commence. So he was beginning à étudier. So étudier is to study. And then we've got ah. Now we wouldn't say to study. No, we would just say to study. So in a sense, ah is not translated. Sometimes, however, we don't use ah, we use de in front of a infinitive. Nous essayons de venir. Nous essayons is a present tense of we're trying, essayer. So we're trying to come. So again, the de is not really translated, and we're translating venir as to come. We're trying to come. Now, sometimes infinitives after prepositions are translated as ing words, as present participles. Il cesse de travailler. So cesse is the imperfect of cesse, to cease or to stop. They stopped, or they would stop, de travailler. They would stop to work. Now, that's not the sense. Il cesse de travailler. They stopped working. Now, the sentence they stopped to work, that communicates a goal. That's going to be the word pour that we're going to see later. But they stopped working. We wouldn't use to work. We would say they stopped working, or they would stop working. Vous aviez réussi à le faire. So here we've got réussir, to succeed. That's a past participle conjugated with avoir in the imperfects. That's going to be the pluperfect. You had succeeded. À le faire would be in doing it. We wouldn't say you have succeeded to do it. That's really awkward. We would say you had succeeded in doing it. So we would translate à as in and faire as doing, and then le as it. So there's other times infinitives are translated as ing words also under specific prepositions. The word sans means without, and if it's followed by an infinitive, sans espérer, we're going to say without hoping. We can't say without to hope. Without hoping. Avant d'aller, avant does before going. Après avoir montré, so this is a past infinitive, after having shown, so we would have used the present participle infinitive. And then après être sorti, after having gone out. Now, a lot of times in English, we wouldn't have said after having shown, we would have just said after shown, and in French or English, after having gone out. But when we've got these past infinitives, and French is going to be really careful to use the past infinitive when we want to show one time in front of the other. So we'll see them more often in French than we will in English. Now, I mentioned the preposition pour, and so it's often translated as for or in order to, sometimes indicating a goal. Sometimes it's not translated. Il est venu pour étudier. So il est venu is he came. That's conjugated with être because it's an intransitive verb of motion. He came in order to study, or he came for studying, or he came to study. So here we've got to study and to study. Here we've got for studying. And so it's going to depend on the context and whether you're going to translate as an infinitive or as a present participle. The verb afin de, in order to, is similar. Il est parti afin de rentrer chez lui. He left in order to return home, or to return home, You probably wouldn't say he left for returning home. No, so we wouldn't do it that way. But afin de is a similar meaning of pour, having the idea of a goal. Now, infinitives can also be used as nouns. And so they can be used as a subject or as an object. And so when used as a subject or an object, the infinitive can be translated as an ing word. And this is what's known as a gerund. There's two types of ing words in English. There's participles and there's gerunds. They have the exact same form, so it's really easy to confuse them. But a gerund is a verb used as a noun. So in the sentence, parler trop fort n'est pas poli. That's to speak, but we're going to translate it. Speaking trop fort means too loud, is not polite. Speaking too loud is not polite. So speaking, the gerund, is the subject. Speaking is not polite. Speaking too loud is not polite. But we wouldn't use a present participle, we'd use an infinitive in French. So when the infinitive is used as a noun, like here it's the subject of the sentence, you're going to translate it as an ing word, the gerund. Here's a proverb, voir c'est croire. So literally that means to see, it is to believe. But what that means is seen, that's believing. So once you see something, you're more likely to believe it. We have the proverb, seeing is believing. And so we've got two gerunds here, seeing and believing. And in French, we use the infinitive for both. So here's a series of exercises, and once again, this creates a story. So once you've translated all the way through, go back and smooth it out so it makes sense.